Hello there. Welcome to a new showcase of the Cardano transaction editor, the Cardano.el project. In this video, I will focus around the latest features around key management and address management. To start, let's create a key pair. The function Cardano addresses new key files allows this functionality. I will name my first key first. What does it look like on your file system? I will go to my keyring directory, demo2, and as you see, I created the first key pair, the secret and verification key, as well as now a database. This database holds a copy of all managed files. To inspect what is in the database, I provide several views. The first of them will be CardanoDB typed files. Here you see a repetition of what is in your file system. I have two rows corresponding to the payment verification key and the payment signing key. I can open any of this one by pressing the key O. Going back, you also notice there is an annotation column. I can access this field by pressing the letter A, which opens me a window dialog where I can annotate any further comment I want around this key file. I will say first key for online demo. And with Ctrl+C, I save this. Back in the file view, if I press G to refresh it, I will see the updated comment. You might have also noticed the annotation column only includes the first line of the annotation. This is to keep this tabular view compact. The second thing you would want to do in general is to create staking keys. For that you use the same function, but you use the universal prefix. That would mean Ctrl+U, and then I call the same function Cardano addresses new key files. This creates a staking key and I will write as name stake. If I go back to the file system, I see this new staking key being created. And if I go down to the contents of the database and refresh it, the staking key is also there. These are only keys. I need to transform them into addresses to make use of them in the Cardano blockchain. For that, I will use the function Cardano address load. I can select from the available key types. Currently, I only have payment verification keys. And if I want to attach a reward key, I select the staking key at the moment, stake. To see the effects of this, I need to open the view CardanoDB addresses. As you see now on the bottom of the screen, there is a single row where an address is listed. Only the first characters are shown, but if you hover over it at the bottom of the screen, there's the entire address. Where you to press C, you copy the address. The node tells me the spending key that is conforming this address, the first key, and the comment I had written for that file, as well as what is under the reward. To open the annotation, I also can press A. And here you see, in similar way than to the files, the comment field, but also read-only fields that include information about the spending key and the reward key. A recent feature is to generate hierarchical deterministic wallets. To get started, use the function Cardano address gen recovery phrase. Select the amount of words that should be included in your recovery phrase, and you will immediately see on the file system that the phrase.prv file is created. With this, you can start deriving keys. Using the function Cardano address new HD key files prompts you immediately for a derivation path. The standard derivation path is prefixed as an option, and then you only have to include the terminating branches. Usually go for 0, 0. updating the manage key files with G, you will see the new key file being registered. The signing key is an extended signing key and the verification key is as usual. It is important to note that there is one specific derivation path to 0 that is for the chimeric ledger or your staking key. Once you create that path, you will see on your registered files that path generates a staking key. This is a default. You cannot specify a path to be arbitrary staking key. Only this one will turn into a staking key. With this, we can go again and create addresses. The function Cardano address load offers us again to do the new addresses for payment verification keys. We want to monitor this address, but now we can pick the reward key. I will select now the one from the hierarchical deterministic wallet. And if I open the addresses view, Cardano DB addresses, you will notice I have 3 addresses on this list. The first 2 rows correspond to the first key, the online demo, but the first one is with the staking key stake. The second one is with the one derived from the seed phrase. Every time you load addresses, the software goes over all your key files. That's why you see this repetition. And that's why this watch becomes relevant. Because although you want the address registered in your system, maybe you don't want to keep track. Were I to press W, I will stop watching this address, which means when I query my UTXO set, I will not look for this address. Now, with some keys in our keyring, it becomes interesting to learn how to create native simple scripts. For this, the function cardano-tx new script comes into our assistance. I want to create a multi-signature script which requires 2 keys to sign, or in a future, after a certain slot time has passed, only one of them. You could think of this as some kind of state planning. So I will take for this the at least clause, and I would say I want 2 required of 2 keys or a time. And S always launches the recursive template for multi-sig scripts. So I want here a signature. I want of my first key. I go again, NS, tab, I want a signature of my first hierarchical deterministic key. Now, this script right now says you need at least 2 conditions, and my 2 conditions are signatures from 2 different keys. I'll put a third one. The third condition, it will be after. And I get a default slot of 1 hour after the current instant. If you're thinking of state planning, you might want to increase this a lot to maybe 2 or 3 months or even a year. But what this script says is at least 2 of 3. That means the 2 people are around, assuming these are separate people. For this example, both keys are in my keyring, but you can also learn to distribute your keys to other people. Or, of course, 2 of 3 would be the first and the third, or the second and the third. This means one single person can also spend from this script after the slot has passed. As I said, this could be considered as estate planning. You have a joint account with somebody else, or even that's the way you distribute for security your keys. You have a multi-sig script, you have the 2 keys in separate places. If you want to spend at any time, you have to collect the keys. But let's say you lose 1 key for any reason, then you have to wait a full year, or the amount of time you have given in here, and then you can spend it with only 1 key. This is also a way of thinking of recovery, whether it's you or somebody else that has access to your key. And that's it. This is a very simple 2 of 3 conditions native script. After you have templated it, you press Ctrl+C, Ctrl+C, and it is stored. Of course, you don't see it on the addresses. You need to go again to managed files, and you find here the simple script version 2. And its annotation as its file name is the hash of this script. Now, although this is very helpful to organize, it's not something you remember as a person. To change the annotation, we press again A on this row. You might want to keep the hash of the script as a name. You'll see here a summary of how this script looks as a JSON value. This is what is stored in the file, and it's the only thing that the Cardano CLI understands. I always find it easier to write YAML things, but you have to respect the input forms of the Cardano CLI. So let's give it a summary. This is a multi-sig script which has 2 of 2 keys or 1 plus time lock. Maybe let's say which key is the first key plus the 0, 0 key. Now let's save this. Now we have a useful annotation. And to load this into our address system, I will use again Cardano address load. Now I can select which of my spending conditions I want. I want the simple script. I want to watch this address. And I will this time pick no reward. I will not assign any staking key to this address. Save. Now let's go back to the addresses view and refresh it. You see here we have the last row corresponding to our multisig script. If you hover over this key, you see it has also a shorter key length because it has no staking component. I extend this row, you see that too as well. And that's it. This would be your multisig script. And then you can use it as you naturally would use as a target address you will pay. And to recover, indeed, you have to respect the multisig conditions and give 2 keys or respect its time block. As a last thing, let's learn how to import files to our system. This can become useful when you created your keys on cold storage, your air-gapped machine, and want to import the verification files to create addresses and manage your wallet, or as I will show you in this example, when you want to import Bluetooth scripts that are compiled in a different place. So in general, you would prefer to copy these files into your keyring there. In this case, I have a directory called contracts. I can mark the files I would like to import, usually in Dart, the file manager of Emacs. I'll take, for example, the always succeed, the hello world int, and the listing range Bluetooth script. And then I can call the function cardano-db direct load files, enter, and that immediately imports the files. Thus, if I go to the manage file views and refresh it, you see the Bluetooth scripts that I just imported. It will be helpful to you to annotate them and say this takes any datum and redeemer. And I would suggest also to include a code block where you could copy the validator logic. And that's it. After that, the procedure is the same with converting them into addresses. So in the address view, you first need to do Cardano address load. Now you can select Bluetooth script version 1. And to monitor this address, I don't want to have rewards for them. Reward address. Then you see the last 3 addresses are the Bluetooth scripts. And that is all I wanted to show you today around key management and address management. I look forward to hearing any of your feedback regarding this tool. Have a good day.